So, if you will, tell us your names.
My name is Allison Nicole Hopkins.
I'm Trevor Hopkins.
And you just moved into the ward.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you move from?
Gainesville.
Gainesville. Great. So, how long have you been a member of the church?
Since February. For me.
Okay.
March for me.
Okay, great. And how long have you been married?
Since April of 2014.
Great. Well, we're glad to have you in the ward. Let's see. So tell me something that you find interesting about yourself. You first, Allison.
Let's see. I like arts and crafts. Is that interesting?
Interesting about me, I don't know. I like to work on cars. I like cars a lot. I like doing things with my kids and all the kids in my family. And I work a whole lot. I'm a project superintendent at a general contractor. We do general contracting mostly for local schools in the DFW area, so UNT, TW, UTA, UNT Dallas, all the bigger schools in DFW.
Great. Awesome. And do you work?
I do work. I work for Core Professional Services in Gainesville.
Okay.
I work in the accounting department.
I was just going to ask you, okay, you say you have children?
Yes, ma'am.
Names.
Brian is my son. He's the oldest. He is 12. And then there's Tanner and Taylor. Tanner just turned 10. And Tayller just turned 7.
Yourself.
I'm interested in your hobbies and your crafts because I'm into
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. What is it? I mean, sculpting, drawing, what
I would
type?
love to learn how to do some pottery, but I really like doing painting. So it's like when you put the stencils on the wood. I'm not like a professional painter, so I can't like make anything awesome, but stencils and paint I can do. I like to do like scrapbooking. I really like to make like birthday cards and Christmas cards and stuff like that.
Wow. That's a
By
big-
hand, it looks like paper mache. They're all a bunch of stuff.
Wow.
Oh, cool. You got to show us some of your stuff.
It's pretty impressive. We're looking to find callings where we can help. We both worked hard to get where we're at, and it's been a long-term goal for us to join the church and make the church a core part of our marriage and our life. And so we're definitely focused on, what we can do now moving forward, now that we've kind of reached our goals with joining the church and paying our tithe and going to the temple and all that. And so we're definitely interested in that. I'm kind of like one of those guys that even if I'm not working, I'm probably trying to work somewhere, and so I tend to be interested in work that I could do for people to help, and so things that I think that when I see somebody that needs something, then I'm just the type that would like to help them get it, and so I like to take things apart and fix them, and no matter what it is. So I like being involved in causes and in people, and we're also appreciative of the involvement that members of the ward that we came from recently, and even years ago, members of this ward's involvement in my life, and we're looking to pay it forward as well.
Okay, so it's a wonderful. I was the Relief Society president there twice.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I love the Gainesville. I love the Denton ward too. I love the Gainesville ward too.
I'm sorry, Alan.
What brought you on the journey to investigating the church?
Well, Leslie Caberna.
Oh yes, know her very well.
So when Trevor and I first started dating, my brother had just passed away, and Trevor saw that I was struggling still with my brother's death, and he introduced me to Leslie, and she taught me, about the plan of salvation. And I mean, I wasn't ready back then to join. But through the years, I just knew that's what I really wanted. I knew back then that's what I really wanted. I just wasn't ready then to make the commitment. And then Trevor and I just talked about it one day, and he was like, well, would you like to join? And I was like, yes, I've been waiting for you to ask.
Me and Allison were both, me at a different time, but we were both blessed with the experience of how strong of a testimony my dad and Leslie both have separately, and they both made a big mark on our faith. My dad, especially when he joined the church, 10, 15 years ago, to watch his development there. I took the lessons with my dad, and we talked every night about, we would read the teachings of the president's books, and we would talk every night about what we thought about the church and the church's history, and it was interesting to watch him develop, because I was just curious if like, could this really stick, like, would he really be committed to that, and I was just, it wasn't him, it was just people in general. Everyone hears good things, and they have good impressions, and a lot of times they just, it doesn't involve a commitment or a life-changing event, it just feels like it in the time. But I watched my dad's life change, and I watched him. I learned, in the very beginning, the reason his life changed is because of the commitment matched the change, and I learned then, even though I didn't do it, that the commitment was what made the difference. Living by the gospel, and I know before me and Allison actually joined the church, we had been living by the word of wisdom and the gospel in general for a year, maybe 2 years, when because we have attended before when we were younger, and I went through seminary and the lessons and all that, so I pretty much knew a lot of it, and so we talked about it when we decided, is this something that you feel good about? And I was worried how she would react, but she was just like, I've been waiting for you to say that, and so we were like, well, okay, that's it, and we talked about, like, I explained to her the reason that I had never joined before was because I felt like if I made that commitment and then fell away from it, it would be worse than never having made it, and I just wasn't sure. And so I explained to her, like, you have to understand, it's not just a place we go every Sunday, like, this comes with, like, our life has to follow this, And so we agreed, well, let's just do it now, and that way when it comes time to make the commitment to the church, nothing changes for us, we just keep on, and that's what we did. And Leslie's watching Leslie's resilience in her life, that she will be happy to tell you comes from the gospel, and watching the change in my dad's life, that he will be happy to tell you came from the gospel, and watching those things and the people around it, especially like today in the elders quorum, they were asking the new member what he thought, what his experience was as a new member with the members of the church, and it really piqued my interest, because I thought about me and my wife's experience. I remember before we joined the church, I really had some anxiety, because I told my wife, like, you just don't understand, when we go here, they're going to welcome us, no matter what ward we go to or where we go, it's going to be all right, we don't have to worry about, like, whether, it's just not how the church is. They genuinely want what's good for you, and they genuinely want to be your friend, and that was my experience with the church. I haven't been to many other churches where everyone has good intentions, but it was just immediately different when I came here as a teenager, because I realized the people really wanted to be your friend, and they really wanted you to join the church, but it wasn't necessary for them to be your friend or to help you in your life or to be there for you, and that I never forgot that, and when we decided to commit our life to something, there was no other option than the church, because we already knew what to expect here. What we wanted, we knew we would find here, so. Yep, I took the lessons with my dad, and then 18 years later, he baptized me.
Wow. Goosebumps.
I feel the same way. I mean, we've talked about this, Trevor and I have talked about it for many hours, over and over, but I feel the exact same.
It's just awesome.
That was a big part of our discussion when we discussed joining the church, was that we decided that we had to both have the exact same goal. We couldn't have any gap between us, or it would make things more difficult, and so we decided, like, let's agree on everything that we're wanting and what we're willing to commit to now, so that later there won't be any separation between us.
Yeah, oh, that's awesome.
It's,
When we moved here, we rented the apartment from a family member, and so we had to paint it and everything before we moved in. And the Gainesville ward sent the youth to help her paint, and then the Denton ward sent women to help her clean and get everything ready. And then Leslie came over wanting to do everything, and my dad came over and he told us, you know, what we needed and how to do everything. And so we definitely feel everyone's support.
yes, very much so.
Well, when I came over that one time, I could just really feel the spirit in your home, and you hadn't even moved in yet. I mean, you hadn't, I think that was probably when you were moving in.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I could really feel something strong and special there.